Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has taken New York by storm. Again. This is becoming a recurring thing for Meghan. As soon as she hits the streets of New York, the world stops to watch. And I am no different. I had such a great time watching her Time 100 interview. She dropped so many really good gems because, of course, we're talking about Meghan. There were so many moments that I'm excited to talk about. And we have to talk about the emotional statements that were given at a memorial in New York City after this. We have so much to catch up on, so let's get started. Once again, thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about Meghan's sit-down interview with Time 100. I have 1,000,001 thoughts, and I know you do too, so I'm excited to get into that. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about Harry and Meghan unveiling the installation titled Lost Screen Memorial, as well as their speeches. Now, before we get into that, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like the video by hitting the thumbs up button. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. It's free here on YouTube, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. And I know that y'all never mince words, so I want to hear all your thoughts in that comment section.
How do you care for yourself? Oh, thank you for asking that. Well, look, I think part of what's really, really important is that love language of taking care of people also really feeds me. And I think that is in many ways part of my self-care, which can feel confusing for a lot of people. You go, well, how do you show up for all these people and not feel depleted? But a lot of times, if you're doing it in a way where you are giving in a way that is thoughtful and intentional and so authentic, it actually energizes you as opposed to depleting you. And tapping into what really ignites my joy is part of that. And being creative has really, really been anchored in that for this moment.
Self-care. What a note to start on. I love that this was right at the beginning of the interview. Meghan is a person that I often say, I don't know how she does it. Y'all have heard me say this 1,000,001 times. I mean, they're the head of a foundation. And then from that foundation, they have several other initiatives that are coming under that umbrella. They are also using that foundation to partner with other groups and companies and charities that are doing the work to progress society forward. They also have their own personal and together initiatives and projects that predated their marriage, and then some that have developed since. They also have careers. They both actually go to work. And then, of course, they have their creative projects, and they are married with children. So I often say about Harry and Meghan, how the hell do they do it? Like, I'm 100% sure, and mind you, I'm not sure at all. I'm 100% sure there's like 6 of them. They have been cloned. And there's like 6 of them going about their day, getting all this stuff done, because that's what I would need in order to do all that. But I love that she kind of gave us a little breakdown, that she honors herself. Self-care is one of those things that it transcends one form. It has 1,000,001 different forms. The bubble baths, the nice scented, candles and things like those are all amazing. And you need to be doing that. You need to be taking care of yourself. And you definitely have to honor those morning and evening rituals. Yes, but self-care also looks like honoring yourself, honoring your well-being, knowing your limits, applying boundaries. Notice I didn't just say set boundaries, but applying them when necessary. Self-care is honoring and respecting yourself even when your voice shakes. Self-care is but taking the steps to ensure that you are not setting yourself up for infinite failure, such as Meghan knew what she wanted from her show. She knew what type of energy she wanted, and she was determined to get it. And so even when other suggestions were made, she honored herself, and look what happened. And one of the things that I love about it is that Meghan is a blend of so many really great things. She's open to feedback. She's open to collaboration. And we saw her. She's always open to learn and try new things. But she's also aware of her boundaries. She's also aware of her firm limits. And she honors that with kindness. I find that is also self-care. She also doesn't deplete her own energy or allow her energy, or her soul for that matter, to be depleted. Kindly get your finger out of my face. That is a form of self-care. Protecting yourself is a form of self-care. She even explicitly said, that is how I take care of myself, when she was referring to the changes that were suggested on her show and the things that they did to accommodate her request. That is a form of taking care of yourself. Not just getting what you want. I want to be very clear. Sometimes what you want can change based on your goals or any other elements. But what's important is that she was going to be the one that had to do the show. She was going to be the one that had to promote the show. She's going to have to be the one that does each episode. She's putting in the hard work. Mind you, this is also partly her brainchild as well. And so it's important for her to work towards what she desires to see, what she desires to be part of, not just become I don't want to say a figurehead, but just become just like a puppet. Like, okay, Meghan, stand here, do this, say this, that. If I'm going to do this, it's going to have to be done in a way that honors me. And I love that. Not only that, but she included other people. She allowed other people to not only be seen and heard, but to enjoy the process of making the food and feeding the crew. A lot of those crews on cooking shows don't get to eat the food. The audience does, but sometimes the crew does not. And so I love that Meghan was like, these are the people who are putting in the work to make my dream happen. Let's enjoy this together. And she made it a moment of togetherness that also ties into what she said at the very beginning when asked about self-care. Part of her self-care is caring for others, knowing that others are doing well, knowing that she is contributing to the well-being of others. I don't see anything wrong with that. Yes, at first sight, that might not make any sense, but there are some of us who are wired like that. My grandmother was wired like that. She was very much, I'm not settled until I see my family settled. And when my family is settled, I could not be happier in my skin. She was like, my grandmother is such a great example of honoring yourself and self-care, but also giving, but knowing your limits and boundaries. My grandmother, I often say, I never saw her dressed down. My grandmother got up every morning at 5 a.m., did her jog around the block, and then came home, showered, and she would be dressed up, making breakfast at 7 a.m. And I mean earrings, hair done, like her clothes, her sweater sets or her dresses. She would be dressed, making 3 meals a day, cleaning up, running errands, etc. But she always honored herself. Those clothes were clothes that she wanted. Those glasses were Dior every time. Like, my grandmother honored herself by taking care of herself because that helped her to take care of others, which fed her soul. So that answer actually made a lot of sense because it's not about giving yourself needlessly. It's about giving yourself in the ways that you can, because that contributes to the people around you, which in turn feeds you in a different way. And I absolutely love that she said that. That is actually a rarity to see someone like Meghan who is, and I know that please don't be mad at me, y'all, but I genuinely hate when people tag the girl boss thing onto Meghan. It's one of those things, I'm not going to argue with people about it. I just genuinely dislike calling her a girl boss because bosses can be boys or girls, men or women, etc. Like, so it's almost like saying, it's a hyphenate almost. Like, there are bosses and then there are girl bosses, girls who get to be bosses. You see how infantilizing that is? So I genuinely hate that. But I love that she is in her very much businesswoman era. I love that she mentioned that something that she's looking forward to is continuing her investments into under-resourced companies that are female owned and founded. I love that she's always making sure that the companies and the organizations that she invests in or partners with are not only female affiliated, but ethical and sustainable. These are all things that are important. Again, I know this is going to sound crazy, but that's actually part of self-care, is checking off those boxes, knowing that she is protecting herself in many ways, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. I don't think people realize what kind of mental junk we all collect by dishonoring ourselves and not even realizing it in those small moments. Letting someone talk to us disrespectfully and not responding, letting people walk all over us, letting people take advantage of us. And we know, like, oh, we'll just keep trying, we'll work it out. No, you need to set a boundary. You need to set a firm limit. Boundaries are to protect you. And anyone who is willing to overstep that boundary is working against protecting you, in which case, why would you want them any closer than they need to be? I think those are the people who need to be on the other side of the boundary the most, are the people who are willing to exceed it. And so those are forms of self-care, engaging in things that make you feel good mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Something that Meghan has always made sure to do, and Harry, is when they invest in a company or work with a company, they do so based on their values. That's how you sleep at night. That is self-care. And so I love that she shared her forms of self-care, but it definitely showed so many different layers of what self-care can not only look like, but how we can achieve that in our everyday life. It's just making different decisions that continue to honor ourselves. And like she said, taking small moments and making them great, making them meaningful. Those things matter. The other night I was making dinner and I genuinely did not feel like it, but I'm committed to cooking every meal during the week now. So that, one, I want to save money because I just took a look back at what I spent on Uber Eats in January, and yeah, come on, girl. So anyway, my husband and I are cooking every weeknight. Can't make any guarantees on Saturday, Sunday, but I didn't feel like it. I work out twice a day. I work out 2 hours in the morning starting at 5, and then I work out for 1 or half hour to 1 hour in the afternoon starting at 6. So needless to say, on top of everything else, exhausted by the end of the night. I mean, I'm burning 2,500 calories in the morning, then I'm burning another 500 calories in the evening, depending on how long I go. And so by the time the day ends, after I've done everything, I'm ready to lay down, but I had made a promise to myself. And a form of self-care was honoring that promise. Now, another form of self-care is being willing to ask for help. So I said, hey, I'm going to go take a bubble bath and I'm not going to rush it. But when I come back, can you chop the veggies? And so that was an exchange. Like, hey, if you chop, I'll fry and die. Like, let's do fry it and dye it and lay it to the side. But that was a form of self-care because typically I will just do it all and I'll huff and puff because I'm tired and I'm the one who made the decision. And husband will be like, Sharion, let's just order something. There's no need in slamming pots and pans. And I'm like, nope, because I had to go and make that promise to myself. And he's like, I will buy you literally whatever you want. Just stop complaining. And so in order to have a different experience, I had to make different decisions. And although I still honored my promise to myself, which again fed my soul because I kept a promise to myself, and that helps your self-esteem, I also was willing to ask for help, which is against what I do. I am a Virgo. I don't need to say any more than that. I asked for help. Now, those veggies was just as ugly as they wanted to be, but they were cut and I got what I needed and we were able to have an amazing dinner. And so I say that to say self-care comes in many, many forms and it takes time. So what I would recommend for people, and I get this a lot, people saying like, I'm just so used to doing this, or I've been doing this way for so long, or et cetera, et cetera. I know this is cliche, but trust me when I say every day is a new day. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. Watch out, Kendrick Lamar. My album about to drop. I didn't mean to spit bars, but no, every day is a new day. So if you've been like that up until this point, okay, good that you acknowledged it. Make a couple of notes though. How much of how I am already serves me? And how much of how I am already depletes me? And then work towards every day removing something off of that deplete list. I don't honor myself. Okay, well then start accepting your not own fate, but start honoring yourself and start defending yourself and protecting yourself and honoring those promises you make and continuing to work towards those goals. Every day do one thing that pertains to a goal that you set. Honor yourself, but you can start today. I get it. It's hard to start in the middle of the week. All the way up until Wednesday of yesterday, I've been doing this way. What makes you think on Thursday I'm going to make a different decision? Because I know you can. And I know you have the desire. And so it will be. So if you're looking to honor yourself more and that to contribute to your self-care, if you're looking to put boundaries in place and assert them, if you're looking to eradicate some of that mental junk of moments we've not only dishonored ourselves or done things that we know that counter our values, because that is mental and emotional junk. That stuff doesn't go away. We have to reckon with that eventually. Once we're tired of having that mental, emotional, and any other kind of junk, we have to make different decisions to have a different outcome. And all of that is part of self-care. Leading the very best life you can and feeling good about it. There is nothing like that kind of peace. And again, that is also self-care. Good job, Meghan.
I'm the happiest that I've ever been. And that part, to have a partner and a husband who is just so supportive and to have healthy kids that are so joyful in the freeness of their life and the safety of their life that we create for them. Of all the things that have happened in my life, I never would have imagined getting here at this point. I would feel just so happy and grateful, and I really do.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the result of living a purposeful, peaceful, and joyful life. Did you hear what she said? She has a supportive husband. She has healthy children. She's in a state of gratitude. She's just happy. She's even created that aura, that safety net around her children, and she is happy. And I'm happy for her. Now, I love that she shared that Prince Harry is supportive of her, but sweetheart, we didn't need to know that because we already know. He lets us know verbally and through his actions. Anytime he has an opportunity to affirm Meghan, he's going to grab the mic and go off. We know he's supportive. And as a matter of fact, he is the blueprint. Husbands, take note, because anytime you see Meghan having a moment, when you see her doing anything, when she is beaming with excitement and joy, you can bet her husband is somewhere watching her beaming with pride because he loves to see her win. And the opposite can be said as well. I know y'all hear me reference this a lot, but do you remember that photo from Australia when Harry was practicing his speech and Meghan was the only one in the crowd at the front row listening intently? She didn't have her phone out. She wasn't talking to anyone. She had her hands clasped in her lap, stopped, and she was all eyes and ears on her man. And that is how it should be. They are equally and mutually supportive. And I love to see it. As someone who will support my husband up, down, side, side, in, out, wherever he is going, I'm about to be right there, patting his back. When he goes into any phase of life, any new project, anything that brings him joy, I'm right behind him. You know how when boxers enter the ring, how they have all those people patting their back and giving them water and putting the time? That's me. That's me. And the same can be said for my husband. When I told my husband, I think I want to return to school, that laptop opened so fast. I said, oh, now wait a minute. Was you looking for me to have something to do all day? You tired of me texting you while you at work? Like, no, wait a minute. Should I get offended? Y'all let me know. But no, that laptop opened so fast. He got to doing calculations. And if you're married and you have the kind of husband I have, then you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say those fingers got to working on that calculator, making ideas and projections. And he came back and was like, okay, here's what we should do. Blah, blah, blah. I looked at the curriculums. What are you looking at? What are you thinking about going back for? And I'm sitting there like, I just mentioned school might be an option. You don't even know. I might be wanting to go back to primary. How do you know what I want to go back to? I might want to finger paint. How about that? But no, he had it all figured out financially and otherwise. He was already on the money. Okay, like this is what we got to do. Blah, blah, blah. Let's just get it all done. And he's been all about it. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I have to be honest, I'm going to throw him under the bus a little bit. But sometimes when I'm teasing him about something, he likes to say things like, go ahead and get an education finish your education so that I can be a stay-at-home husband. That's not so supportive. Now I'm going to have him go look at Harry. Harry would never say nothing like that now, John. But no, all jokes aside, I guess if you're paying for the education, you kind of have a right to say that. But no, all jokes aside, having a supportive partner, whether that be a wife, a husband, etc., it can make all the difference. You absolutely don't need anyone in this world. You can do anything that you set your mind to all by yourself, and the universe and God will provide for you. However, having that is such an asset, and it is very much a blessing. Having a partner who pours into you and not drains you. There is a difference for all my young ladies and young men out there in your early 20s. Trust and believe, if your partner is draining the heck out of you, that's probably not the partner for you, or at least not the partner for you in this phase of life that they're in. Sometimes people can make some changes and swing around. I don't recommend it. But the point that I'm making is having a supportive partner can make all the difference. Having someone who uplifts you, who helps to replenish you. There have been days where my husband has had such tedious, hard days of work where he is going everywhere. I remember he took 2 flights in one day, and I felt so bad for him, but he was working hard. And on the flights, he was still working. And I saw the little bill for the in-flight Wi-Fi. So that's how I knew he was working on the plane. I mean, he was just so busy, and then turned around and took me to Germany. So, I mean, it was a really tough day. And I remember saying, it felt like the world had spit him out on our doorstep. And I had opened the door and just dragged him back in, got him all dressed back up, and sent him back out into the world for the next day. And some days your days look like that. And then there's some days where he strolls right in 2 or 3 hours early because he was able to get out of his last meeting with flowers and dinner. And those are good days too. But the point is, having a partner who replenishes you can really set you up to take over the freaking world. Yes, you can do it on your own, but when you have someone to help you carry the load and then pat your back when you carry your part of the load as well, it really does make all the difference. It can really change how you see the world. Like, for example, when I was by myself, I had grind time in my early 20s. I was going to school. I had several jobs and several internships. I was grind timing for years, and a car that didn't want to work. I was busy, and I was getting it done. I was executing at a high level, and I just stayed focused, and I enjoyed it. I felt very fulfilled. But when my husband came into my life, I didn't have to do that much. I didn't have to go at that speed, and it still felt great. I still felt accomplished, but I felt balanced. I should have been able to achieve that prior to meeting him, but something that he added to my life was learning to take the day as it comes and take it day by day. You're not going to save the world all in one day. Bite off the chunks that you can chew and keep progressing forward at a decent pace. That is definitely his contribution to my life. And so I say that to say, hearing Meghan talk about how Harry has impacted her, and the first thing out of her mouth was supportive. Oh, you better believe he is being supportive. And honestly, Meghan don't have to prove anything to us. But again, every other week, the tabloids, they're getting divorced, they're breaking up, he's ashamed, she's upset, and blah, blah, blah. And here they are, just as in love as ever before. As a matter of fact, they've entered a whole new era of returning to that original initial falling in love phase, because he's been watching her build as ever. And with Love Meghan, and seeing her do what she does brings him excitement. She mentioned that. So they're in a whole new phase of love, and people are still talking about some made up nonsense that they've been peddling for years. So, she doesn't have to prove anything, but I know when she said that she was in love and she was just in a happy moment, her husband was supportive. Ooh, I know they were sucking them little brown teeth they have. I know they were mad. But anyway, I love that she mentioned this. Good for her. This is what happens when you lead a purposeful life. This is what happens when you honor yourself and you just stay the course. We've seen Meghan through phases, bad, good, and none of her own doing, but we've seen her go through things. We've seen her have really high highs, and we've seen what I expect were really low lows when things were at the peak. And when she said she never anticipated, or she didn't anticipate getting to this place, or she couldn't see it, I feel like she might not have been able to see it because she was in the thick of it, but her fans did. Her supporters absolutely did. She has been supported since the very beginning. Many of those people are on my channel now. Many of you are from the originals. Many of you are Tina and Michelle. Many of you are part of that, who started from the very beginning. Many of you have been watching the Royals since you were little, and you've been supporting them forever, long before there was even a Sussex squad. You were a royal watcher, and you loved Harry and Meghan from the very beginning. Regardless of where you stand, if you are supporting them, you absolutely saw that there was an other side, and we were going to make for damn sure that she got there. Were we not? And I always say I'm late to the party. I didn't start contributing. I've always been a fan of them, but haven't started contributing until 2020. And so I'm only 4.5 to 5 years in. And some of y'all have been here long before that, but what I see is a community of people who operate less like a community and more like a family, a group, a family. And so while Meghan might not have seen her getting to this side, I know that the group that I have been observing for 5 years, the group that has graciously allowed me to be part of their ranks and join and contribute and listen to me chat about it, the group that I know, the people that are on this channel and others and many, many others, we're going to see to it that she got where she needed to be. And I think it's great that she got there, because I could see the time ticking. I thought y'all were going to start beating the hell out of those tabloids. I said, eventually they're going to storm the Capitol. They're going to have had enough, and they're going to go to whooping asses. Let me put some money to the side so I can start making a couple of bail payments. I had y'all's back now. I knew that y'all were getting over it, but I had y'all's back. So I'm glad our girl got to the other side, and she is safe, and she is happy, and she is thriving, because I think if we had another year like some of those bad years, I think y'all would have had enough. We would have been fighting in the streets. So anyway, all jokes aside, it's wonderful to see Harry, Meghan, and their little kiddos doing very well. I'm so glad that she confirmed what we already knew, is that she is happy, she is being loved on right, and that's all we can wish for. And I wish that for you as well, whoever might be listening to this.
You are under a lot of microscopes, scrutiny. How do you just stay focused, minimize the noise, not get distracted? Give us some tools, tactics. We all have that in our lives.
Well, when I was backstage listening to Ryan speak, and he gave that quote, which you all would have heard, but he said, Tina Fey said, if you're feeling good about yourself, go online.
Right.
Yeah, just go online. So I don't do that. I've made a very, very conscious effort to create boundaries for myself and for my mental health, for my well-being, and certainly to role model that as well for my children. And when I am able to not even just tune out whatever that noise is, to really not give it any credence, that has become so much a part of my day-to-day life. And things will get brought to my attention on a need-to-know basis. Outside of that, I'm kind of late on the boat for a lot of things going on, and I'm okay with that. That's part of what I find to bring me peace. It also helps me have very, very strategic focus on the intention of the products, the creative or the producerial work that we're doing that I want to bring to the table. So it does give me a lot of space to focus, because I'm not in the same swirl that a lot of us find ourselves in.
I guess that was Meghan's way of telling me personally, out of everybody who's listened to this, me personally, to get offline and get on the good foot and do my homework. I hear you, Meghan. I guess I will get back to focus. But no, all jokes aside, this is actually really great advice. Don't seek out what you know is not going to help you. It's not going to add to you in any way. It's not going to add any value to your life, to your mind, to your psyche, to your progress in any manner. don't seek it out, especially if there's nothing you can do about it. Now, if it's something you can do to change it, fine, but you cannot change trolls. That's why I stopped arguing with them and I just block and delete them. As soon as I see the tide turning in their little comment and I realize it's a troll, I don't even read the rest. I also block my name on social media, like on different apps, because I know that I'm putting my opinion out into the world. Once it hits the internet, it belongs to everybody. Not legally, I will hit you with that copyright, but other than that, it belongs to the world and people have a right. If I'm going to put it out there in a public space, people have the right to share their opinion and their takes on me. And in the beginning of me having a YouTube, just having this channel, I actually came across by accident. I searched my name to see how my thumbnails looked when they were on the Explore page. I wanted to know what kind of impact they were having. So I just searched my name in the YouTube bar and I saw several videos of people talking about me and they weren't my videos. And I was shocked because I said, not somebody including me in a trash video, like to trash me, but also I'm at home with my hair done up in like a rag and I'm sitting here comfortable and watching TV and eating milk duds. And there's somebody out there writing down a script to trash me. And I'm over here being a bum. Like, I promise there is something better to do with your time. And I'm sitting here like, child, I'm over here looking crazy, playing with my dogs, eating stuff I'm not supposed to be eating. I'm literally just living my best life in the worst way. And you over there trashing me. And what a waste of time. Like, I just found that to be so funny. Imagine trashing me and I'm at home playing Red Dead Redemption 2. But no, that lesson taught me something because I was so tempted to see what they had to say. And the little bitty thought in my mind, it was like a whisper in the back of my mind said, why do you care? And I said, well, because I'm curious and I don't want nobody to have my name in their mouth. Like, no, you could just really get back petty. I'm about to go to middle school when I saw my name pop up. But no, I was genuinely like, I'm curious as to what they had to say. Like, what was their problem with me? Because clearly from the thumbnail, it was not a positive video. And I'm like, now, why would they say something negative? And I said, no, wait a minute. Of everyone who should be prepared to see something like this and know how to handle it, it's you. You literally built an entire channel on protecting two people and their children from shit just like this. So are you surprised it happened to you? And do you feel like you're special and above reproach and above these types of things? You know, trolls will do what they do and they're not going to let up even if it's you. So why are you even going to engage? And I had to really face myself because when I tell y'all, a very unkind spirit rose up inside of me because I was about to watch that video and really give them something to complain about. And I said, ma'am, you got your roast in the oven. You got real grown lady things going on over here. You got your roast in the oven and it's smelling good. And you also have to clean out your refrigerator. You made a promise to do it and you put it on the calendar. You also have to submit some payments for an event I was helping to throw. You also have to call your grandmama back because she left you that very sweet voicemail and she forgot to hang up. So I got to also listen to her walk around the grocery store. Like, you have real life to get back to. You have to go see your niece and help her get her hair done and all this. Like, you have life to do. Why are you going to spend any time or energy even thinking about what this person is doing? And so I made a little promise to myself. I said, I'm going to give myself 48 hours. And if this is still on my mind, I will then go back and watch it. I don't even remember the person's name. I completely, like, life happened. And so that was my one and only encounter with that kind of thing. I'm sure it still happens, but that kind of thing, I don't even see it. I don't even see it and I don't want to see it and I don't seek it out. And that was when I had the idea to go ahead and mute your name on Twitter too, because I've seen some unkind tweets pop up on my feed. Twitter is so messy. And I had to go and block people. And I said, you know what? They have a right to share their opinion no matter how wrong they are. But you also have the right to not see it. It's my responsibility to protect myself. And I have to take the time and the effort and have the willpower to do so because we are all human. It can be really easy to lean into that. I wonder what they think of me, even if it's just out of curiosity, even if it doesn't validate you in any way. You're curious. You're not wrong for being curious, but you have to love yourself out of that curiosity. You have to love yourself enough to say some needs won't be met. And my curiosity is one of those things right now because my mental health, my emotional health, and honestly, my time conservation has to depend on me being a good person and being focused on the right things. When Meghan said that it freed up a lot of space for her to focus strategically, yes. You clear out all that mental gunk. You clear out all that nonsense. And even when you don't have a reaction, have you ever overheard someone talking about, I have walked in a room and overheard somebody talking about me. And when I tell you that is the most uncomfortable experience, and it's nothing like the sitcoms make it look, but I've walked in on two technicians I worked at this company called Andy Sprinkler. And I walked in on two technicians just reaming me verbally. And I walked in and I said, wow. And when I tell you their little faces were shook, and I got my apologies, but I never forgot that feeling, that sinking feeling of like, wow, I'm working really hard to get you hours and, book your appointments and make sure you get what you need. And this is how you personally feel about me. And we don't know each other personally. And it hurt my feelings, but it taught me something about the world. It's not your damn business how people feel about you. It's your job to live a life that makes you proud. It's your job to live a life that when you look in the mirror, you like what you see. No, you love what you see. It's your job to lay your head down at night and sleep peacefully. It is not your job to chase down every lie, to chase down every insult, to chase down every misconception, to chase down every troll that has a problem with you. Because if we're going to be real, when you are living a life of purpose, a lot of people have a problem with you. Because a lot of people are triggered by a person who does not allow the world to externally validate them, because they don't know what that's like. And so they assume because you don't need validation, then you must be up to something. I don't trust a person who trusts themselves. And that tells you all you need to know about that type of person. And it is not your job to go convince them of a damn thing. It's not your job to pat their back or change their mind. It's not your job to prove anything. If a person wants to have a misunderstanding and have a misconception of you, let them. That just cleared the way for a person who's going to be normal to come into your life. Stop taking up room. What did Beyonce say? You got the green light. You're holding up traffic. Green means go. Matter of fact, she screamed it in the. Do you know how annoying you have to be for Beyonce to go in the studio and say, you're holding up traffic. Green means go. And then just go. Like, do you know how over it she had to be? But that's how you have to treat that kind of person. It's not your job to change anybody's mind about you. It's not your job to prove anything. If people want to sit around and say, oh, Harry and Meghan are getting a divorce, okay, fine. But me and my husband are out here picking oranges with our kids. You are welcome to think and believe whatever you want to, because I'm sure that served some insidious purpose in your soul. Probably because you're looking at a cold bed every night and you're lonely. I don't know. Probably because you've been eating on that 3-day-old takeout because your card keeps declining and they won't give you any more freebies. Whatever the case, it fed some insidious need that you had. And whatever that was probably the biggest win you've had all year long. So have at it, because your misconceptions, your misunderstanding, and just your outright trolling doesn't change anyone else's reality. So don't seek that out, because it doesn't benefit you to know that someone else is an idiot. We know a lot of people are idiots. We can just throw them in the basket with everybody else and keep on pushing. Just like she said, it freed up a lot of space in her mind so she could strategically focus. Look at how minding your Black business changes your life. When all you have to do is mind your business and drink your water, like Beyonce said, drinking your water, minding your business, because Monday you're overrated, Tuesday you know the lyric. But the point is, look at how much progress comes from minding your business and just staying on the good foot, focusing forward, not giving your energy to any of that. Because honestly, time is the most expensive commodity we could lose, but energy is right up there with it. Give your energy to the things that you want to see flourish. And I can promise you, I don't want to see a troll flourish. And even if I had 48 hours after I saw that video, even if I still had the impulse to watch it, I know I wouldn't have, because I'm petty, and I wouldn't have even wanted to give them half of a view, let alone one full view. I wasn't finna click on it at all, because I didn't want them to get that engagement. So I know my petty self came in handy, because I wouldn't have given them that. But I was tempted. And even in that temptation, I had to face something in myself that I was not proud of, but I was glad I saw it so I could work on it, because it is absolutely your responsibility to protect yourself. And that is in all ways, whether that's mental, emotional, spiritual. You have to protect yourself. There are 1,000,001 pitfalls that you can fall into just simply by curiosity. But it's not your business how much of an idiot someone else is. And I love that Meghan protects not only her peace, but her time, but the well-being of not only herself, but her family, by not even bothering to give that any kind of energy. You know how whenever you've been around someone who may be in a bad mood, you know how that kind of permeates everything they do when people are just in a funk. And we all have those days, but we're just in a funk. Like you've just had like a really draining argument, or we just got some really bad news or just something, and you're in a funk. You know how anything you touch that day, it kind of permeates it like a germ, like it just kind of spreads like venom. Everything you touch, it just spreads. Have you had those days where it's like, I cooked, but it didn't come out quite right? Like, dang, I'm in a bad mood. I cooked, it didn't come out right. Now I got to go buy food. I was on the way there. Now there's traffic. Now I'm running out of gas. Do I have time to make it to the gas station? Oh, I should have Uber Eats, but I don't want to spend that money. You know, like everything starts to compile. And then when you're around other people, that affects them too. So if you have a husband and kids or a wife and kids, when you're in that funk, that affects them too. So now they're going on about their day and they're carrying this little bad energy bug with them everywhere they go. And I say that to say, we've all had days like that. Reducing days like that really does depend on us being mindful and conscious in all ways. And so with Meghan making the choice to completely ignore that those trolls even exist, which I love, because people, listen, your acknowledgement validates their existence. As long as you ignore them, they genuinely don't exist. They are insignificant. And what better way to show somebody that they don't matter than to remind them they're insignificant? They can't have your attention. It's too expensive. And so I love that she doesn't allow those things to even get into her world. You don't even have access to my world. But because of that, she's able to protect herself and properly care for herself, but she's also able to protect and care for her husband and children. I don't go into battle for unwinnable battles. If I walk up with my slingshot and I see an army tank on the other side, I'm actually going to say, you know what? Actually, you got it. Listen, I was out of line. Look, I don't care what it is. If I show up to a knife fight and they pull out an Uzi, I'm going to say, you know what? Actually, I was on my way to clean some artillery. Do you want me to take that whip? I'll polish it up for you. Listen, did I bother you today? I'm so sorry if I got you out your skin. My apology. Like, I'm not playing in unwinnable fights. A fight with a troll is unwinnable because they serve to only gain and you serve to only lose. You lose energy, you lose time, you lose self-respect. Trust and believe. Every time you give people your energy, a little bit of you gets disappointed in you. Like, you know what? You are more important than this. You are more valuable than this. Don't give them this. They don't deserve it. By the time that comes out of my mouth, I'm steady typing. And another thing. So you have to be mindful and conscious of where you engage and what you give your time to, because trolls benefit from your attention. First of all, like I said, your attention validates their existence. You just telling them you know they're alive, that's probably the biggest compliment they've ever gotten. Because do you know how important you have to be to them for them to embark on trolling you? There are 8 billion people in the world, and they picked you out of the crowd to go bother. And usually, if you know you haven't done something to someone, people express resentment because they want to be friends, but they don't know how to ask to be friends. So they think the only way to get your attention and get any of your energy is to be in conflict with you. That makes them feel like they're on an equal tier. So people engage in things like that because it serves them in some way. You've probably gotten that person 8 or 9 followers by going back and forth with them. You've probably gotten them more engagement on their channel than they have ever had. You've probably gotten them a couple of retweets. You've given them some form of validation that day. You've also given them a topic. So now they're probably going to talk about you even more for much longer. You've also given them content and a thumbnail and a headline. They serve to win. And you only serve to lose. The only way you win in those situations, and I'm not just talking about trolls. I mean, like I walked in on the people talking crazy about me at work. Like I've had those experiences. I saw a tweet of somebody talking about me. Those things don't matter. And your attention on them don't change them. But also the fact that they feel that way or they said those things or whatever they did to unfurl you, it doesn't change your reality. So when people come at you a certain way and you are tempted to give them some of your energy, I want you to zoom out real quick and just promise me you'll give it 48 hours. Promise me that. And you're welcome to let me know anytime this has worked for you. But zoom out for 48 hours and I want you to go do something you enjoy. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's sewing. I don't care if it's jumping jacks. I don't care if it's backflips. Whatever you enjoy doing, I want you to go do that immediately. And then I want you to embark on a couple of self-care things, a nice bubble bath. I want you to go for a nice workout, a nice good stretch, call a loved one that you haven't talked to anymore. And if you do, call my grandmama too. Because I'd be taking a long time to call her back, and just go ahead and call her too so she won't be mad at me. Tell her I sent you. But no, whatever you go do something you enjoy doing. And then I want you to come back to that thing in 48 hours and ask yourself, does this matter? Did this change a damn thing about my life? No, not only did it not change your life, but thinking about it is taking you away from the amazing life you already built. So this is probably the best advice she could give, especially in these types of times, this climate that we're in. Don't let that stuff into your world. It doesn't matter. And the only time it does matter is when you give it the value of your attention.
But let's, because I think it speaks to the tiny moments of joy that are so effortless and just create a little bit of magic that we're all craving in our everyday. They're tiny little flower petals that are dried. I started putting them on salads. I started putting them on scrambled eggs. It didn't actually matter on a yogurt parfait. The level of charm that you find people have when they see these tiny little dried petals is something I can't fully wrap my head around, but I appreciate that there is a love for the detail and the small level of delight that can be added. So take flower sprinkles really as an analogy and think about what you could do in your everyday life that can just have a little splash of magic on unexpected moments.
I really like this moment because it can be easy to forget, but we are all in control and we all have the power to romanticize our life. Whatever that may be, whatever that may look like. When you're doing your makeup, make it special. Like I said, I put my vanity together and I made it super, super special. And now anytime I have to do my makeup, which I'm not the biggest fan of, I sometimes just want to get it done and go. When I have to do my makeup, I make it a moment. I make it nice. I make it fun. And I give myself something to look forward to. That's my time to catch up on Sex and the City. And when I say catch up, I mean my rewatches. That's my time to catch up on Emily in Paris. And that's my time to watch like my really fun fashion-based and style-based shows and like get into the zone. I also rearrange my closet so that it's kind of magical. When you go in, it feels like a nice, fun department store, but like during a holiday. You know how when you go in a department store, it's already glam, but then a holiday, it just makes it extra special. So I made mine like as if Barbie were at a department store. And it's just very special. There's sparkles here and there. There's lots of color, very different from the rest of my home. And it's just one of those things that it's a moment when I go in there and start my makeup, because that was a task that I wasn't the biggest fan of. I just felt like it took too long and blah, blah, blah. And so it helped. I started romanticizing how I cook dinner. I've always romanticized my bath time, my wash days for my hair, like those things I always romanticize. But making those little moments special, especially in tasks that you don't really care for, that you dislike, make it special. Find a way to make it fun. Give yourself something to look forward to anytime you engage in that activity. It changes the entire dynamic of your life. I know it sounds crazy, but taking things that I'm not even dislike, but that are super mundane, or just taking things that I dislike and turning them into things that I'm excited to get to do has changed my life. I feel like I'm in a permanent state of gratitude and a permanent state of happiness. Like, I cannot believe this is my life. I can't believe this is what I wake up to every day. I can't believe this is the bathroom I take my showers and my baths. And like, sometimes I do sit back and I thank God all the time, but then sometimes I really sit back and I thank God and I go down the list and I'm like, I cannot believe you've given me everything I asked for and then some, tenfold. Those moments are so special, but it took a lot of intention. And Meghan mentions a lot intention. It took a lot of intention. At one point, I remember just being really annoyed that I have a stacked schedule. And then I paused and I said, I get to do these things. These are things that I wanted to do. Of course, they come with a little hard work. And yes, it's going to take some effort and time management, but you actually get to do this. I remember when it was a tall tale or a feat to try to get back into school because of all the other stuff that was going on and the roadblocks that I had in front of me. I remember when I was, wanting to shop, but I didn't have the funds, and now the goal is to ease back. And so you look at the things that might be bringing you any kind of stress or discontent, or even just things that you find mundane or boring or just like, oh, I hate doing this thing. Turn it into something you enjoy, make it special, make it a moment. And it doesn't have to take a lot of effort. Like Meghan said, it's just dried flower petals, but they are charming and they add something to it. And people do appreciate the details. Your environment can really change your whole life. I make it a point to always make my bed. That's not a necessity, but for me, it helps me to know that my house is clean, it looks good from top to bottom, and it's done the right way. And I get to walk in and I feel this whimsical magic when I walk through my home because everything is just like I like it. And I intentionally put this together to make me feel that way. Romanticizing your life might feel like, we got to do this stuff. Let's just get through it. Okay, but you're going to look up 60 years from now and you just got through every moment. Make sure to live and savor those moments. And you start with a couple of dried flower petals. And I kid you not, those little flower petals are, like she said, it's an analogy. They are so indicative of all the little things that you get to do. And maybe you don't realize you get to do them because you have to do them. But isn't it wonderful to have to do something you're excited that you get to do? Aren't you glad that's one of your requirements? And if it's not, I would recommend turning it into that.
What's next?
I think obviously focusing on our family and our children is the most important and first platform. It all stems from there. But beyond that, as I continue to work to uplift other female founders, that's really using the platform of Confessions of a Female Founder to do that, to continue to expand my portfolio of investment into female-founded companies because they are so under-resourced and under-supported. That is very, very important to me. And then the extension of, as I continue to invest in them, investing in myself with the business of As Ever, scaling that to growth, and then there'll be more surprises.
Can't wait.
That statement, that a couple more surprises, was the shot heard around the world because every ear perked up. We want to know what that is. Me personally, I think one of those surprises is going to be season 2 of Archetypes. I felt like their initial statements regarding Archetypes leaving Spotify and Archewell Productions and Spotify going their separate ways. I feel like there was always that underlying message that Archetypes would continue just on a different platform, because they even said find a home. They would find a new home for Archetypes. And so I always felt like the vibe was Archetypes is coming back. And so I personally think we're going to get season 2 of Archetypes. My fingers have been crossed all this time. So hopefully we do get that. But I'm excited for whatever they produce. They have been really showing their skill with creating content. I have liked everything they've put out, even things that I didn't personally relate to, like Polo or Live to Lead. Like, those are not my journey, but they were both inspiring in a different way. And Polo was just interesting anyway. I've never really known that much about Polo. I enjoyed watching that, and I loved all the characters on the show. Like, everything they've produced has been extremely entertaining, but also informative. And I feel like we need more of that. I don't like shows that, or any content, honestly, that feels preachy. And I love that they're able to share their message, but they're not shoving it down your throat. And I also love that they are always producing high quality content ethically, and they're showing really good content, but also entertaining you. So whatever they produce, I'm down for it. I'm all ears. I'm just ready. And so this whole interview, I felt like was really good. Obviously, I enjoyed it a lot, but I felt like it was such a great moment for Meghan to really sit down and show us Meghan, the businesswoman. Anytime we've seen her, or she's even talked about business before in other formats, but showing us Meghan, the entrepreneur. They even showed Meghan and they put founder of As Ever as part of her name on there. And we know Meghan from a million and one other things. Obviously, the main one being that she's the Duchess of Sussex, and that she was one of the stars of Suits. So like, she's made a name for herself long before now, but now we're seeing her enter her business focused era. And I love that the way they introduced her reflected that. I noticed that as well. And I felt like we were getting introduced to a different side, or at least we were getting more elaboration on a different side of Meghan. And I liked hearing her talk about things that she's passionate about, obviously with like family and things like that. But I loved hearing her talk about business. It's so clear that she has been growing in that area, and she's been very intentional about her growth. I love that she is still very much building her portfolio, that is an ongoing thing, and that we're going to get to see her continue to work with companies and to continue investing, because when she does that, we're able to also learn more about these companies. We're able to support, but also we're kind of broadening our horizons as well and learning about these really great companies, because we know that she is going to vet them very well. So it's a win-win, but I just enjoyed hearing her speak about her business, speak about what she does. I just think it's great. Now, one thing I'll also say is that even when talking about business, like she said, she's a dolphin and not a shark. I think it was very clear in this interview. When she is talking about business, she's speaking about it from a place of passion. Did you notice that? Like, anytime she was talking about As Ever, anytime she was talking about With Love Meghan, anytime she was talking about anything that she engaged in, you could literally see the joy kind of leaping out of her. Like even her mannerisms, the way she was moving her hands, the smile on her face, like she's very passionate about these projects. These projects aren't just, let's do this, let's try this, let's do. These are things done with intention, which is what she mentioned. And you can tell that she is not only enjoying the process, but she's extremely well suited for it. And hearing people talk about things that they're passionate about is one of my passions. I enjoy that. When you get to talk to someone or sit down with someone and they share a piece of them, like something is so important to them that it's part of them. Like when you speak with a musician and you say, so how long have you been playing the saxophone? And they brighten up. I've been playing since XYZ and I this. And you just see a whole different side of them speaking to people when they are very passionate about something. It's a very special thing. It's almost like they wrap you up in that essence as well. And it's one of my favorite things. And it's interesting. In my mind, business is one of those things. It's a kind of a necessary evil. And some of the things you have to face, you have to go into it and you just have to do it. And something that I love is that although, yes, business can be a necessary evil, Meghan approached it like she approaches everything else. And I don't know why I'm surprised. She approached it with kindness and joy and that positive Meghan effect, I should say. So she embarked on it from a place of learning, from a place of conquering, but also doing it her way, ethically, sustainably, female founded. Like she didn't just say, hey, I'm going to invest in Apple or I'm going to invest in this or that. There's a purpose behind what I'm doing. I'm being purposeful, being conscious. I'm making intentional decisions, and look at the joy that it's bringing her. I don't know many business people who are joyful about business. I don't know many business people who see business as their passion. Most of them they just happen to be good at it, or they happen to just know the right people, or it's just something they're doing to get rich real quick. A lot of people who are focused on business in that way, especially from an entrepreneurial point, a lot of them are doing it, but they understand it's like a necessary evil to get through the grit. It's like all the numbers, all the accounting, all the fundraising, like that stuff isn't always fun, but it's necessary. But it's something so special about watching Meghan, who talks about every aspect of business and building her business and running her business and just creating this whole second or whole next chapter or next era. And every bit of it, she sounds excited about. Even the things that don't sound fun, like the packaging, she was so intentional with it and it consumed a lot of her mind and she was excited about it. Even if it wasn't something that's like glamorous, it's not the glamorous part of the job, but she loved being part of it at that stage. This is clearly something that, yet again, is a heart-led mission for her. And I think that's why the companies that we know of so far that she's invested in, and when we've done our deep dives, we find 1,000,001 things to love about them every single freaking time. That's how it works when you're working with intention. And so I'm very proud of her. It was great to see her in this light, in this aspect. We have seen her for years as the Duchess of Sussex. She is absolutely still that. But I mean, as that kind of person, just the person who is going out there and hugging and helping and contributing to society moving forward. And she represents so many things for so many people. She is most people's favorite royal, next to her husband as well. They typically hold that space together. And we know her as that. We know her as a mom and as a wife and as an actress and as this really fun public figure. As I like to say, one of the few public figures doing it right. But it's wonderful to see her doing something she's passionate about. That one, it could be just for Meghan because these are her passion projects, but she's even finding a way to make her passion projects beneficial by working with sustainable and ethical and female-founded organizations and companies. Like even the thing that could have just been for her, she's still thinking about other people. So I wish her nothing but the most success. And I know that I don't have to wish that because it's going to happen. It's already happening. But it's great to see her in this time. And I want to hear more from Meghan from that aspect. Hopefully we get to from more episodes of Confessions of a Female Founder in season 2 of Archetypes. So anyway, I'm going to keep asking until I get it. May as well buckle up, baby. But anyway, that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed my analysis of this sit down. In the description box below under sources, you will find a link to the Time 100 interview. Feel free to go check that out. I decided not to put the entire interview in this video. I was going to put it at the end. And I know that would have been very convenient, but I do think it's beneficial for the platforms to see the engagement that Meghan and Harry's content gets. So if you want to watch this in full, there are things I left out. Feel free to go check this out. It's under sources, under Time 100, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex's interview. And I highly recommend clicking that link and hitting play on that video and watching it in full. It's only 16 minutes long, which is funny because this video is hella long and it's me analyzing a 16-minute video. And I didn't even include everything, but it's a very enjoyable watch. There were so many other amazing nuggets of wisdom. So that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. And I will see y'all tomorrow in our live stream. Bye.